Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mark with Limo Marketer here, and I'm joined by Jeffrey Kabool from Executive Livery Service out of Orlando. Jeffrey, thanks so much for doing this.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, anyways, Jeffrey's been a client now for going on 2 years, right? Or
Coming up, yeah.
yeah,
Time is by.
yeah. And so we got to talking the other day, and he's done really well. He has an interesting kind of business model similar to Ken, the guy I interviewed a week or two ago. It's kind of funny because they're in pretty much the same market, I think, living in different places. But anyways, just wanted to hear about your story, how you got into the industry. And
Mhm.
so when we just talked about this the other day, you said you've been doing this for about 10 years, but you didn't start as an Uber driver, which neither did Ken, funnily enough. But most of the people I talk to, most of the new clients I have, are like Uber Black drivers. So
Right.
how did you get into the business?
I kind of came from a completely different industry. I was a manufacturer's representative in the plumbing industry for my whole career, and there's a lot of changes in that industry. And some of the manufacturers were bought out by some Chinese outfits, and they just decided to go a different way with their representatives. So I have a friend of mine who is in the bus business. So he had just said, it's like, what am I going to do? I'm in
Yeah.
my mid 40s here, and what am I going to do? I had a whole career, and it's kind of gone away. So he just said, hey, just start a livery company, and I can kind of show you the how you get around doing this and that and the other and pricing and so forth. So I was like, yeah, I'll give it a try. And it was a perfect fit because the Florida was my trading area before. So I know
Um,
the state really well. Anybody can give me a town or a street or something like that. I'm always going to know it.
Yeah.
So pricing, jobs out stuff, that was very easy for me.
Yeah.
I have a lot of guys call me from other companies asking me for when they get like a long distance trip or something, asking me my opinion on what the pricing should be and so forth. So that's always kind of nice. It's like a nice little pat on the back from
Yeah.
your friendly competitors, asking you for pricing and so forth. But yeah, that's how I got into it, and it's like I said, it fit me perfectly. So I just kind of did everything myself for the first few years, even the Google AdWords and everything, which was just it's just kind of too much. If you don't know a lot about that, it's boy, I tell you,
Can
I
be
just did,
overwhelming.
yeah, I didn't have the time to really get to learn it good, but I had the decent results
Yeah.
that I did it myself. But I'd get all these calls that people were looking for cabs in the middle of the night and stuff like that, and I just could never figure out how to stop that. But and I had some other people that I worked with prior to meeting you, but it never went away. I'd always get those cab calls, always get those cab. Ever since coming with you, I think maybe I've gotten one in 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder than most people think to like eliminate that stuff, especially lately. Google ads has just gotten harder and harder. But when you started out, did you start like doing your own marketing immediately, or how did you get your first clients? How did you really get going?
Well,
Because you didn't start with Uber
yeah,
Black.
it's tough. Yeah, it was tough there for a while, but I would just try and get some, feed off some other companies and so forth.
Nice affiliate work.
When people, I would go out and introduce myself to some of the other companies and say, hey, I've got this vehicle here. I've got, all my permits and insurances and so forth. So,
Would
I
you
kind of
actually
got,
drive out and like meet them, or
mhm,
how? Oh,
yeah, yeah,
that's the way to go, man.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You have to. I mean, people could fall, but you're out of sight, out of mind. So I did that with a few people, and then just got to know a couple of people here and there, and then got some good clients just over the time from my just from my customer service and so
Yeah.
forth, and really started growing. But then when COVID happened, I had a lot of regular clients that traveled every week, and
Yeah.
that all went away.
Yeah.
So, that's we had that time period there
I
with
was
not
rough.
much going on. And
Yeah.
then, after we came out of that, that's when you and I got together and
Yeah.
just kind of hit the ground running.
Yeah. Wow. And so, no, I really like that you mentioned that you would drive and meet them, because now that I think about it, just talking on the phone, they can't see you, how you present yourself, what your
Right.
vehicle's like, and they're like, do I want to like pass a guy, my clients who I've never met in person? Like, what if he isn't presentable? What if
Right.
his vehicle isn't presentable or something? And so that's really smart. And I think that's how most new uh limo companies should really get their first clients, right? Just go introduce yourself and start networking, right? You had
Yeah,
a
that's all you can do. I mean,
yeah.
I tried to like bang on doors too. I mean, I had like print media made.
Really?
Oh yeah, I had
Did you
print.
do sales at your no, you weren't doing sales at your other gig, were you? Or were
Oh
you?
yeah, well, yeah, I was a manufacturer's representative. Yeah,
Oh,
so
of course, that's
yeah,
sales. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So yeah, so I mean, I had print media made up, and I went around and I went to some corporations and like I went to like even Electronic Arts here in town. I mean, I went to some big companies and just walked in and handed them this, 8.5 by 11, like nice shiny color piece of a guy opening a car handle, basically,
Yeah.
and did that for a while and went to some hotels and so forth. But you know, after time and learning, I figured out that really you gotta have good internet marketing, or
Yeah.
you're just relying on others. And
Yeah.
when you have the internet marketing, then you're relying on yourself because you got the quote come in. It's up to you to get it done.
Yeah, totally. So that's awesome. That's kind of funny. Like, I think it's a great way to start any new business, because don't get me wrong, it's a lot of work, knocking on doors, meeting
Yeah.
people, but just the experience. Like, I started cold calling, now
Hmm.
we haven't done
Yeah,
that.
that's it.
We haven't
That's
done
it.
that in years, but
Yeah.
it kind of like it starts your career in the right direction, putting in the work. And I'm guessing now you probably don't have to do that as much. It's probably good to never stop doing that, but
Right.
I'm sure you have so many, clients now and consistent work coming in that you don't have to do that as much. I'm guessing you pick some clients up though from
Oh
handing
yeah.
brochures and stuff. And those
Yeah.
could be
Yeah.
good clients.
But what I did too is I went back to some of the not not first, direct sales clients, but I went to secondary clients like general contractors, builders, things like that. People that would use products that we used to sell, but we're not like a
Oh,
wholesale chain, you
that's
know.
brilliant, because I
Yeah.
guarantee you no one else. So that's a great point you just made. And everyone watching, this is
Yeah.
very brilliant. Where does everyone go? Law offices, right?
Yeah,
You
I've gone
know,
to a lot of law offices.
hotels, but
Yeah.
you went to some places where most people probably wouldn't think like to go to, but these are businesses and they use these type of services as well, right?
Right, yeah, they all have big sales meetings, they have people come in, so, I'd get a lot of bus trips and so forth, out of some of these big, GCs and so forth, and not only that, they already knew who I am, so when you go to talk
Oh,
to the
that's
door, I
okay.
already
Thank
had a
you. Pat.
contact person to talk to, albeit they may not be the one that does that, but they'll say, "Oh, Cindy, she's the one that does that type of thing. Here, let me
Yeah.
take you over to her office." So then you're
So
already in the door.
okay, so that's another great tidbit. So not only like going to places, meeting people that you probably don't know, um,
Right.
affiliates, but your own network, right? People you
Yeah.
already know. There's got to be a friend of a friend, who could potentially be a client, or a friend of a friend of a friend, right? Or they can
Sure.
point you in the right direction and get you that initial meeting. And by the way, these are sometimes some of the best clients, right? Because the thing about online marketing is, yeah, unfortunately, no matter what we do, a limo marketer, you're gonna get tire kickers, right? It's
Oh,
just
of course.
it's just
Yeah.
a part of it, it's just a part of it. And when you do this, you can be more selective. That's the great thing about outbound sales, is you can kind of choose who you contact, and that's many times how you get the best clients. So
Right.
it's really awesome. And
Yeah.
so you did Google Ads yourself for a few years, and then you
I
probably got
did, yeah.
up a lot,
Mhm.
I'm guessing.
It's tough, You'll
Yeah.
constantly have to stay on top of it, and there's
Yeah.
so many things, that you can get into, and, you click on this and it's like, "Uh-oh," you know?
Yeah. What
But
did
yeah,
I
I
do?
did all right at it.
Yeah.
I didn't light the world on fire or anything, but I did okay. I'd get some calls and so forth. But like I said, it wasn't, probably the most calls I would get was people looking for cabs, and it's
Yeah.
just, that just was so frustrating.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Okay. And then as far as your operation right now, you obviously have a lot of business coming in, but you've only still got the one vehicle, right?
Yeah,
So
I keep it low. I keep my risk and overhead low. I mean, some of these guys that they like to talk about how many vehicles they got and so forth. They're not around anymore because
yeah, no, yeah,
COVID's
COVID
a
wiped
great.
them out. Yes.
Like there's a guy that we used to do a lot of work with that like I would taken many famous people so forth that he had all those type of deals,
Yeah.
and a lot of times I would be the one that would do them, but he's gone.
Yeah.
I still have people calling all the time asking for, hey, you ever hear what happened to so and so? So I even went by his office. I mean, they're gone. So I guess they just the overhead and everything. If you got too much over you and there's no business, those wheels
Yeah.
are turning. I mean, that, that's not going
Yeah.
to do anything good.
So, the benefits are sure you might have a little bit more of a margin in there. And yeah,
Mhm.
there's something to be said for like kind of controlling exactly how everyone looks. But I would almost think the downside, especially if you're in a market that's somewhat seasonal, that's when it would be really tough. How
Yeah,
seasonal is Orlando? I know the spring is usually the busiest time, right? In Florida.
yeah. Usually, January, February, March are really good months. But when you start getting into the summertime now, it does slow down. There's not too many business people will come here at this time of year. It's so hot, and all the conventions and so forth kind of stay away from this time as well. But it's more families, people coming on vacations and so forth. So I book more like sprinter transit type of work now, where people are coming in with their families. I just booked a guy a few minutes ago with 8 passengers for a sprinter
Oh,
going
nice.
from the airport to a hotel out by Disney. So that's more of the this time of year.
Okay.
But there's a ton of sprinters around town.
Yeah, yeah,
So if
sure.
I had a sprinter or two sprinters sitting outside right now, I'd be wanting to have those things rolling all the time.
Sure.
So I get guys with sprinters calling me up, asking me, if I've got any work and so forth. So
Are these
yeah,
just independent operators, like just like one guy with a sprinter, or are they like company?
so for the most part, a couple guys have a sprinter and an SUV, that type of thing. Um, so they've got to keep those things rolling. And like I said,
Holy.
and the sprinters seem to be kind of like the new limo, if you will, where
Yeah.
every guy wants to get one that's nicer than the other guy.
Yep.
Yeah, but if it's if they put too much money in them and they got to get too much per trip or per hour, then I got way too many other guys that I can go to, and they're all professional, and like we were talking earlier about me going out and seeing these guys. Well, I got to go out and see these guys, before
Yeah,
I go
no,
in,
totally.
to make sure the vehicles are all right. Same reasons why I went to them when I got started out.
Yeah.
So that way too, I know which sprinter. Just using an example would work in each scenario. Sometimes
Totally.
people like a limo or something, but there's 10 of them and they want to go to, they're going on a cruise ship and they're flying in.
Yeah.
So they're going to have too much baggage to put in a limousine. So in a sprint,
Uh,
people have
yeah.
sprinters that are made up like limousines. So
Yep.
then you just got to kind of feel it out.
Yeah. It's funny. I get calls once in a while from guys who own like, oh, I just bought this brand new like jet sprinter, the
Hmm.
ones that have like a table and like these
Oh
really
yeah.
nice chairs. And it's just tough because when you do online marketing, though I've noticed the very high end or very specialty vehicles, they're just kind of harder to book. I feel like
Yeah.
with those guys, it's like almost better to just go out and let every limo business in your area know you have one of these, because one of them that doesn't have that vehicle is bound to get someone who is looking for something like that,
Right.
but you don't go out and buy, and I have this conversation all the time, you don't buy the vehicle and then try to get the business, right? It's
Right.
kind of like doing it the other way around. And that's what most people do. But I typically recommend, if you can, just, if this is going to be your acquisition strategy, like online marketing, just throw $1,000, $500 at it, just see kind of what sort of jobs you're getting. And that kind of will inform you of the vehicle to purchase. And
Right.
so you currently have an SUV. Is it like a Suburban, Escalade? What?
Actually, to tell you the truth, I have a Cadillac XTS sedan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I like to do the sedan work myself. I've got many, different SUV guys. So it depends on, again, on people's budgets or what they're looking for. I had a girl call me this morning looking for 3 new Escalades for 3 days, 8 to 10 hours a day. So I
Whoa,
said,
that's a big job.
yeah. So I said, we can do it. So I've
Yeah.
got to have those. So, those new Escalades are super expensive.
Oh, what are
Yeah,
they?
like 100 grand.
130 or 120?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah, they put the markup on them and everything, so it's like you got to keep those things running. And, most of those
Totally.
guys that go buy those things, they don't want to do a trip to Disney for 5 passengers for $139. They want
Yeah.
170.
Yeah.
But people may not want to pay $179, so they can get a brand new Suburban for $130.
Yeah,
So it's like,
totally.
it's I'm just not gonna. This is a lot of risk to have overhead. To have a car just sitting there.
Yeah. And the nice thing is, since you have all these affiliates you use, and I'm sure you know all of them, you can trust these guys, you probably give them a lot of work,
Yeah,
and you can have the regular and then the luxury option, right?
right. That's right.
Depending on, the client and what they're looking for. And
Yeah,
so I'm guessing you have like what, like a half dozen or so affiliates you use a lot, and then you have someone who does sprinters and maybe
yeah. I
even
have quite a
buses.
few. I mean, I have quite a few. I mean, I had a job back in January that had about 125 airport transfers on it, and it had
125.
125. Yeah, and it had like 4 days of motor coach shuttles between two airports. I mean,
Wait,
between
and
two.
you landed this job? A
I
job?
did all. Yeah, I did all of it. Yeah, yeah, and then it had some sprinter stuff on it too.
The
So yeah,
logistics only just in a job like that must be, I
oh,
mean,
it was tough.
it must have been stressful the first really big job you got, right? Even if you know
I've
you
had
got.
a couple. I've had some other ones, but not that many. I think I had one back in maybe October of last year that had maybe 60 or so uh, airport transfers. Going to hotels. But this
Yeah.
one, like I said, I had about 125. And it was, it's tough because I had to do, I just have the people send me all the information in on an Excel spreadsheet, and then I can print it out, and then I can just kind of go through it and put see what first I do is see what trips I want to do.
Yeah,
To
yeah, sure,
to see
sure.
how the most I can do out of it time wise,
Yes.
so that because that way I'm getting 100% of the money. Then I can go back and look at the secondary ones and so forth, and then go from that that way. And then if there's some delayed flights or
Oh man.
that type of thing, then I got to kind of mess with that too. But we made it happen. It all worked perfectly.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, yeah,
That's wild. Like, did
yeah.
you, for things like that, do you like have like a mentor or someone, or did you just figure all that out? Because I would think that would just be stressful. I've been in business 7 years, but just
Yeah.
that many pickups, especially with
It was,
like delayed flights.
there was stress. There was stress
Yeah.
involved. Yeah, there was.
I'm
You know,
sure.
yeah. But mainly, the most part of the stress thing was just on the bus side, which was just because people would be coming out of each hotel, and the bus was going to leave, say at the top of the hour at one hotel, and then leave the other hotel at the bottom of the hour. People would come out a few minutes afterwards, and then they would call the contact girl and start complaining and so forth. So that's where we had most of the, I say, issues, but they were nothing major. So what we did is ended up putting a sprinter in as like a little
Oh, a
fill-in.
backup.
Yeah,
That's smart. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they were, they it was, they were able to approve and pay for it. So, it helped out everybody.
Yeah. So when you do something like that, was that like someone you handed a flyer to, or was that someone like that you used to know from your old job, or was that an internet net?
Yeah, that was just a complete limo marketer. I think I want to say it was a limo marketer. What's the word? Like organic help, because the girl that contacted me called me on my other number, not my
Yeah.
number that comes through limo marketer, and
Yeah.
she had looked at my website and everything. But I would be willing to bet that she probably found us first from our advertising through limo marketer and
Checked out
clicked
your
on that.
reviews. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and then
Yeah.
she saw that, she saw the name and everything, and then just Googled that and went through the reviews and everything, and then, looked at the pictures and so forth on the website, and then called, saw that we had everything that she needed, and then, I just said, "Yeah, send me the Excel spreadsheet, and I'll take a look at it and then send you back some pricing." So,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. So I talk to clients sometimes are like, yeah, I'm getting more organic work now. And I'll check out their website and I'm like, they're really not ranking for anything. I'm like, and then, I check out their reviews and they have really good reviews. And I think what happens sometimes is someone goes, they see your business, on Google Ads. They go to
Mhm.
your landing page, we build for you. And then they like just, look for your reviews, right?
Yeah, I
Because
think that's exactly right.
that's what people want to do. And then when you do that, and then you go, let's say, to your website, it doesn't look like it came through us, but I think that does happen sometimes. And which
Yeah.
is a perfect segue into your reviews are insane. Like you are like probably got, you're in the top 10% of my clients as far as like being really diligent about getting reviews. I don't even think you have anything, you have like maybe one under 5 stars and it was a fake one, right?
It was fake, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only review I had, okay, before I started with you, and it was a fake review, and I went back and forth with Google 10 times trying to get them to remove it. It was a fake email address and everything, and they wouldn't do anything for me. So then
Yeah.
when you and I got started and you have the link on your job completed, thank you text that
Yep.
goes
And
out,
the app.
where
Yep.
they all came from, every one of them.
Yeah. That's awesome. So what is your system? Because you have a system for the
Right.
review thing. What do you do?
Yeah, I like to what I do is on Monday afternoon around between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern time is
Yeah.
when I go through from the previous week and I do the job completed on
Yep.
the app. So
Yep.
it'll send out the thank you text with the link to the leave a review. I do that so people are be getting home from work at that time, and they Mondays they just seem to work well, and I get a lot of reviews, and I'll get them all like one right after another right then, and then I'll click on it, and I'll send every one of them a reply to their review for us.
Yeah.
Um, so no one goes unanswered.
Yeah.
Every review gets answered.
And that's huge. People see that, right? When you
Oh yeah,
look
of
at
course.
reviews, the worst is when I see a company who might not have the greatest reviews, and they have some bad ones, and um, they don't respond, or worse, they do respond arguing with the person, which even though the person might be completely in the wrong, they might be completely in the right. But to an outside observer, it just looks like, well, this guy is arguing with all these customers that weren't happy. Like, what's going on? It's crazy that
Right.
your record is that spotless over
Yeah.
2 years. I don't know what exactly. I'm guessing you probably had to comp trips or like, because things happen, right? Cars break down, things happen. How have you kept the reviews so good?
Well, we just try. We're there on time, and we're doing what we say we're going to do. You
Yeah.
know, um, I just we're just that's my thing that's always in the back of my mind. If something were to go wrong, we get a bad review.
Yeah.
So
That's
that's just
that's so huge, man. I look on Facebook and I see people like posting, "Hey, what do I do about this guy? He's pissed off." It's like whatever will make him happy. Because
right.
the funny thing is, I feel like a lot of times when someone's pissed off, you can actually turn it around so that they like are your biggest fan if you handle it correctly. And look, at the end of the day, man, like you get a few 1-star reviews on your profile. It takes a lot of 5-star reviews to get back to a decent rating. So even if you have to comp a few $100 trip, whatever.
No, yeah, you'd have to do it if that situation arose. Then most definitely,
it's a marketing expense.
Just say, look, we're going to refund your money, and
yeah, totally.
So forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it. It's not worth it. Like you said, if it's for a $150 transfer or something, and someone's going to leave you a bad review for, and for if there was a reason to, if we were late or something like that were to happen, then I would give the money back to them. But,
it's worth it.
Yeah. That's just not, being late is like the one thing that you cannot do.
No.
Just be there on time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, that's wild. I just don't understand businesses that don't get that just because it's going to live on the internet forever. And really then you're kind of on the defensive with people. So what do you do mainly in your sales process? So just for everyone watching, clients get leads typically 2 types of ways. Number 1, they get a phone call, or number 2, they get like a quote request form, which then that person who requested the quote gets a text message, and it's an automated text, but it doesn't actually look automated from you. Now, do you typically just text back and forth with those people? Do you call them? I mean, what works for you? Because whatever you're doing seems to be working.
Yeah. I like texting, I do. So every once in a blue moon, you'll get somebody that puts in their home number. So you can't text it to them.
Right.
So I'll send them the email, and then, usually they'll respond to that. But if they don't, then, I could follow it up with a call. But for the most part, the way I look at it is if somebody didn't put their cell number down, it's probably because they didn't want you to call.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah. So that's what, I'll just send it to them, but they'll put their email address. So, so I'll send them the email, and then, just like the app works, just like the text when it's emails, you have a chain, you just go right on through. So I booked a lady last week, actually, but I booked her months ago, but their trip was last week. It was a minibus, just airport transfer to and from. But she was email, only there. She just put in her house number. So I think we had 29, 30 emails in our threads going back and forth. So finally, when she was ready to make the reservation, I just said, hey, let me have your cell number, please. We'll need it for the driver. And then I just switched everything over to our correspondence to text, which, she followed suit.
Yeah.
So,
Have you noticed, or do you remember, have you noticed a difference since now you have, well over 100 5-star reviews from when you started 2 years ago and you just had the one, which wasn't good.
Yeah. It was really none. Yeah.
Do you notice a difference in like how well you close people? Cause I wonder how many of these people you send them a quote, they're like, before I give a credit card, maybe I should check out this guy's reviews just to make sure he's not some shady business or something.
Sure. Yeah, no, I think a lot of people do that, actually. And then I have people sometimes that, via text to the app will ask me, about, well, how do I know if you're going to be there on time, or how do I know you're going to show up, or something like that? And I just tell them bluntly, I say, look, Google Executive Livery Service Orlando and just take a look at our reviews, and then I'll wait to hear back from you.
Game over, right?
Yeah,
Game over.
That's it. And then they call back.
Yeah. And the great thing is, so I was talking to someone the other day, they're like, wait, can you just buy these reviews? Yeah, you can, but here's the thing. I feel like people in this day and age are getting better and better at reading something. And I know me anyways, I can tell if it's a real review because there's usually a story behind it. Not always, but many times they'll actually have a story behind it. The best ones are the ones where they actually take a picture, and put that in the review. That doesn't happen very often.
Not too often. Yeah.
Not too often, but I think that happens more like stretch limo jobs. where they're going out, like if you're doing an airport transfer,
Right.
you're really like, going to take a picture or whatever. But just having real reviews is just so, so important. And I think, and it's hard to tell exactly how much it helps, but it does.
Oh,
Right?
it helped. Yeah. I mean, I get calls from these guys sometimes trying to sell you reviews, and I tell them, I go, I don't need your services. I said,
Yeah.
I get multiple reviews every week. I don't
Yeah.
need that. So, they'll call back and call back. And then finally, I think this one guy, I think he finally got the hint, and I just said, we don't need that. We get real reviews. Oh, these are real reviews. Like I said, but they're not my clients. So they're not
Yeah.
real
No,
reviews. I don't want
no,
them.
they're actually not real reviews,
Yeah. Now, I tell you one thing I did just pop into my mind. You're talking about the pictures. This was
Yeah.
kind of cool. Is we got a call from somebody back in April wanting. I think they wanted an Escalade, if I remember right. They were going to the airport, so we did that, and took them to the airport and everything. And then the following Monday, I sent out the thank you job completed
Yep.
text, and she did upload a photo, and it was her. It was a woman who was with her son, and her son they were going to the airport to go to the NFL draft, and her son was the first round pick of the Eagles.
No,
Yeah, like the number
that
50.
is so cool.
Yeah, you can look on my Google My page. It's all there. She took the pictures of them like sitting
Whoa,
at the draft. That's
that
pretty.
is
Yeah,
okay. That's probably one of the coolest pictures I've ever heard. Right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's on there. That's one of the because I actually got an email from Google saying, "Oh, you got a new review from so and so," and I looked, it had a picture, and I was like, "What is this?" And then after I read it and everything, I was like, "Wow, that's pretty cool."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, cool. I guess my last question would be what advice do you have for newer operators that are trying to like get in the business, or maybe they've been in the business a while, they're trying to like grow it because you've obviously done pretty well for yourself and you've done all the different things, affiliate,
Yeah.
pass your card out, online marketing, like
Well, I would just say, don't try and grow or, so fast that you're going to lose control. And, it doesn't matter how many cars you have. It really doesn't. I mean, the biggest transportation company is Uber and they have 0 cars.
that's a
Yeah.
great point. Wow, that is so true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So and that the other thing too is, you can always increase your budget with, on Limo Market or with your daily expenditures if you want to grow that way. But then you got to make sure you got somebody in the office to answer all the calls the
Yeah,
way they want them
totally.
to be answered and so forth. If you double your daily budget and you start getting all these double the calls, you got to have somebody that can field them and knows what they're doing, and knows how to
Yeah.
price the jobs and so forth. So, it's a methodical growth.
Yeah.
You just can't, you can't act like you just won the lottery and you're going to throw all this money in it and think it's just going to triple. You've got to, have an iron fist on
Yeah.
everything. That's the way I do it. I have to control everything. So I
Totally.
watch the growth.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add another car here. Um, but
SUV?
yeah, but I'm just kind of waiting for I'm just waiting for the buzz of the new body style to wear off a little bit. The pricing is still pretty high, and now the interest rates are higher. So
Yeah, yeah.
they're getting a mid-cycle refresh here in 24. So I think the 22s will, the value probably drops a little bit once
Yeah.
that comes out, and just go from there, or just kind of keep an eye out. There's companies that have that pick up cars that people can't pay for, and you can find them
Oh,
there.
yeah.
There's companies that do that for livery vehicles.
Yeah.
Um, that's what they do. And some of these bus companies, things like that sell minibuses and stuff like that. Sometimes they've got a guy that's what they do is they're the guy that picks up the cars that have been taken back due to
Yeah.
some
Repos or
damage.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the repos exactly.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. So, yeah, I love that last thing you said. Like, yeah, Uber is the biggest transportation company and they don't own any vehicles.
Yeah.
And
Zero. Yeah.
yeah. And so, what I've gotten from you is, yeah, when you're starting out, affiliates, your network, um, you know, customer service, you've got that in spades, right? Never be late.
Yep.
Work on your reviews, right? Because
Yeah.
it's something that it doesn't cost you money to do. It just takes a little discipline. And I love your system of doing it one day each week at a certain time. You send out, job complete, which is really just a thing in the app where you mark it and it just sends an automatic text. It fills in their name and it has a nice
Right.
message. And
Yeah. It's a thank you message.
yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
And then responding to all of those, that's
Hmm.
huge as well. And wow, nice work, Jeffrey, man.
Yeah.
You're crushing it.
You know what's a good thing too, just to say too, I just thought of is to go in when you get a quote. Usually, what I'll do is I'll wait till after 6 p.m. Before I'll mark it as quoted if I don't hear back from them, because the way that I've got the timing set up,
Oh, the following
it's
morning.
4 hours. Yeah, so we'll
Right.
go after 10. So if you do it after 6 p.m. in the evening, mark it things that are quoted that you don't hear back from, and first thing in the morning at like 8:06 or 8:07 a.m. East, I'm talking all Eastern time here.
Yeah, yeah.
Then they'll get a, hey, did you have any questions with your quote? Blah blah blah. So
Yeah.
first thing in the morning. So that way, a lot of times I'll get people that I didn't hear back from. Even after this 2-day one, they're like, oh, I've been so busy, I've been meaning to get back to you and so forth. So I do that. That's also a methodical time that I think is the best time to mark that as quoted, because you don't
Mhm.
want to mark. Say you send somebody a quote out and you go into the app, you don't want to do it right then, because they could get back to you and say, ask a question about it, and then
Yeah, it
4
looks
hours
kind of,
could go by, and Daniel would send out a quote. Hey, you have any questions about the quote? They're thinking, like, well, I just talked to you about it. That
yeah,
type of thing.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, with that, it's important to um pretty much, yeah, not mark that as quoted until, yeah, you're pretty sure there's going to be some time that goes by. But
Right.
the nice thing about it is it does, or this is how it's supposed to work. If they're in that follow up and they do send you a text or call you, it's supposed to not send them, did you have any
Right.
questions? But I really like your idea about the following morning, because that actually almost makes the most sense. Maybe I should just change it to do the following morning if they haven't responded.
Right.
You have to set a time limit. I don't know if it gives you the option to say, all right, wait until tomorrow morning and send it. There might be something like that, but I actually really like that idea, because then you're not like, it's not the same day a few hours later and you're like, hey,
Right.
what's going on?
Yeah. You're not
The
bothered.
next,
Yeah.
yeah, the next day actually makes a lot of sense, because it's like, well, hey, like it's been a day, you know,
Yeah.
what's going on? And I'm sure you pick up, I don't know, maybe 1 in 5, 1 in 10 that you might not have gotten if you hadn't done that, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. People like that. I get it all the time. Thank you for following up. I get that
Yeah.
all the time. I reply on the text to people.
Because I guarantee you, you always want to like think about what's my competition not doing. And I
Right.
guarantee most companies, what they do, I know this because I've talked to so many of them. Well, what do you do after you send a quote out if you don't hear back from them? Oh, well, yeah, we try. And when they say try, it means like, okay,
Yeah. No.
maybe they do it once in a while, maybe they don't. If you do it with every single person, that's when you'll really see real
Yeah.
measurable results.
Yeah. You got to just use the features of the app that are there. That's why they're in there.
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. Jeffrey, thanks so much for doing this, man. I really
Yes, sir.
appreciate it. It's been very
Yeah.
informative.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, man. We'll talk to you later.
All right, buddy.